The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Ewell. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle, where you can access your full potential right now. Finally break free from destructive habits. That dream life, if you want it, you can have it. This is where you transform your health, mind, business, and relationships, or do nothing and keep your life the way it is. But if you're ready for change, you're in the right place. This is where you're gonna learn how to live a habit-based lifestyle. You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewell. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
All right, guys, welcome to the Habit-Based Lifestyle and Business Secrets Show. Today, I'm going to be talking about a concept that I learned. It was back in 2015. I went through a program called SEAL Fit 20X, and I also went through another program shortly after that, called Kokoro, and it was the only civilian training at the time that you could do with Navy SEALs. And as we were getting ready for these events, kind of going through them, there was this concept called embracing the suck. And what it really was embracing sucking at something for a period of time until you actually got better at it. Now, the best way I could explain it would be like going from, being a white belt in if you think of martial arts, it's, being a white belt means you're just beginning, to where, when you're a black belt, you're essentially learning the same moves you do as a white belt. You've just now mastered these movements. You've not only done these movements, but you've basically become these movements. So embracing the suck in the beginning is essentially about doing the work long enough to where you now become the work. And so this concept really rang true. And I was on a call yesterday, and I wanted to kind of walk through this because I think a lot of times we're not willing to do the work because we're not willing to embrace the suck. It's very hard for us to get the results in our life in whatever we're doing if we don't go through a period of time where we really embrace that period of learning, embracing sucking. And I'll give you a couple examples of a lot of times people that we work with inside of Habit-Based Lifestyle, whether it's incorporating a new habit into their life, or maybe, it's someone wanting to improve their marketing in their business. They're not willing to go through a period of time where they're sucking and embracing that sucking. So best example I could give you is, a lot of the clients, we work with want to start leveraging their social media profile to start putting themselves out there to start getting clients. Well, there's going to be a period of time where you're going to have to put yourself out there, probably more than you ever have. You're going to do some things that maybe you've never done in your business or life before, which kind of leaves you vulnerable and kind of leaves you, to put yourself out there fully and step into that. Now, one of the things that we see is typically, most of our clients are probably okay with certain types of posts, but when they start talking about either doing a video or they start maybe putting out something that's a little more vulnerable, they hold themselves back. And a lot of times we go through this kind of perfection loop where perfection, if it's not perfect, then we don't take action. If I don't have everything in place, I tend to, not take action. And so what I want to work with you on is some simple concepts of how do I actually embrace the suck and make it in a practical way. And I think essentially, putting yourself out on video is one of the ways that we have to, begin to market ourselves. We have to begin to, put ourselves out there. And when you do a live video, like you can screw up, you can say things. I remember back in 2015, when I first started doing videos, I think, in a 5-minute video, I was probably saying, probably 100 times. some of my friends even, they would sit there and make fun of me for doing it. But one of the things is after I got past that initially, I started setting a goal of, okay, I'm going to do 90 days of videos every single day. I'm really going to take this in and I'm going to apply this to an area of my life that maybe I suck right now, but I'm going to get better. And essentially what I did is I did 90 days straight of shooting a video every single day and really embracing the suck, embracing going from literally never doing one, sounding like a complete idiot to doing 90 days. Well, once that 90 days was up, I was like, man, I could keep going. So I went another 37 days. I made it to 127 days straight, which is, if you're taking it 365 days over the year, it's about 33% of the way there, maybe about 40% of the way there of doing a video literally every day. Now, one thing that taught me was how to, embrace the suck to a place where I maybe no longer sucked as bad as I did initially the first time. And I started getting into the repetition of doing it, but I stopped thinking about being perfect and I started thinking about what is the action I can take to do this. And I see a lot of business owners hold themselves back because of this thing. They think that they should be perfect at doing something, even though they haven't really done it. And if you guys have ever read the book, or ever heard the concept 10,000 hour rule, is essentially we're not going to master something until we've gotten to that 10,000 hours. But if you think about a black belt is probably someone who's mastered the concept of the 10,000 hour rule. A white belt is essentially someone who has maybe done 0 to 10% of that work. And that means that, hey, if I did 1,000 reps, then I'm probably going to be right at the level of a white belt to maybe getting a yellow stripe or maybe even jumping into a yellow belt. But there's that 0 to 1,000 repetitions that I would have to get to just to get out of being that white belt, just to get out of that period of time of embracing the suck. And so think about this concept, whether you're trying to market yourself, maybe shooting some videos or maybe putting yourself out there essentially the first time, or you're trying to incorporate a new habit. There's going to be a period of time, no matter what, and no matter what you're doing, that you're going to embrace the suck for a period of time. And you got to be okay with that. And you have to almost be willing to take the criticism. And I find it's not the criticism from others. It's more the criticism we give ourselves. And you just got to be willing to step into that and go through that period of time. Once you get past that, it becomes a lot easier. You almost, laugh at yourself and think, man, for a period of time, I was really hard on myself and I thought everybody else was going to be hard on me. But what you find out is you're harder on yourself than anybody is on you. And the majority of things that you'll say to yourself would be things that someone else would never say. But if they did, it completely, wreck you if you weren't stepping into that. And so the whole concept of embracing the suck is a way for you to get out of perfection and to start taking action. And once you begin to take action, you can begin to progress and get in, go from being that white belt to going to be that yellow belt. And again, mastery is a lot of times the way people achieve mastery in something isn't because they know, a million different things. It's because they've mastered the basic principles and the basic things, whether it came to marketing or whether it comes to martial arts or whether it comes to really anything. I think of even fitness, most people are like, well, what's the best move, to achieve this result? And I always go back to, okay, there's really 7 basic movement patterns that you have in fitness. Whether, you want to progress and do more from that, that's great. But if you boil it down, there's 7 basic patterns of movement in fitness, in exercise, that everything else will always go back to. And from those, if I can learn those 7 basic movement patterns and master those, then I can achieve the results and success I want. And it's really the same thing in martial arts. It's the same thing in business. If I can master the basic principles of business, marketing, sales, systems, leadership, automation. If I can master those things, then I will be elite in business. I'll be able to essentially figure anything out that's going on in my business and use it to progress forward. And so that's really the concept that I learned several years ago. Training with Navy SEALs was like, they were using all these concepts that seemed really basic, but when you started to do them and do them for a period of time, it became who you were. It became a part of who you were, and it became a habit. And that's really essentially what we're talking about, is embrace something long enough and do it long enough and suck at it long enough to where it becomes a part of who you are. And it's no longer something you're doing. It's something you're being, and it's something you've become. And that's really the true power in that. So guys, I want to thank you for jumping on today. Quick message. And if you guys have any questions about habit-based lifestyle, drop embrace the suck in the comments. We'll get you some free content. If you're listening on the podcast, you can always reach out to me, Jesse at habitbasedlifestyle.com. Until next episode, have a great day.
The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse